everyone, and this is Menoth John. And today I'm here to tell you about LoveMachine. Yes, this is the LoveMachine scenario, the winner of the Hardcore Casual contest over at Painting with Menoth John. This scenario comes from the Hardcore Casual Scenario Pack 1, available if you become a patron over at patreon.com/MenothJohn. In this scenario, you have a lover and you have a shopper, and it is 2 casters on each side, and it is a 50-point scenario. You can have the 2 different warcasters in your army be from different factions, and as I said, one is designated the shopper and the other one has designated the lover. You win by assassinating either one of the casters, and you need 2 control points to win this scenario. You can only score by dominating the chocolate shop or the flower shop once each. You cannot dominate each one more than once. If the shopper and the lover ever get within 12 inches of each other, you lose all your control points. So I hope these lovers are able to get together and make their love shine.
What's up, Advanced Maneuver fans? Dowdark here. So this week we're doing a little different. We're going to do a hardcore casual scenario. So this is not your typical competitive by the clock scenario. It's just 2 people enjoying the game, having fun, and playing kind of a wacky scenario. So in this scenario, LoveMachine, you get 2 casters. I decided to go with Madrak and Calandra. I don't know about you, but I think that there's something special going on there. Each of them obviously has their rewarder unit because they're leaders of their people. They gotta have it. Mulg is Madrak's wingman. Calandra's got her girl Janissa with her, and there's a couple other people just following around to make sure that nothing crazy happens, and keep these 2 leaders of the Trollkin safe and protected.
Alright, so for my army list concept, this scenario called for LoveMachine. So I was thinking that Grayle the Farstrider would fall for Miss Major Victoria Haley. He was impressed with her ways that she threw magic around and respected her, and this fell for her controlling of magic. So he started to ask her out on dates, arranging to always be around when they're fighting, helping her with skirmish battles, always sending Woldwyrds to help protect her. So, and it was Haley running around with Thorn, Stormclad, and Unit of Stormblades with 3 gunners, and they had the Officer Standard, and Grayle was meeting her with his accompanying with 3 Woldwyrds for anti-magic so that she could be safe. The Wolf Riders, using the Wolf Riders to help with what he should get for her, what kind of roses are best. White Mane and Lord of the Feast were to help him with long range shopping and making sure they can do stuff.
So for those of you who don't know, LoveMachine is actually a scenario that was created by a YouTuber, Mr. Malorian, and won the Painting with Menoth John Hardcore Casual contest, in which they basically got to submit generated scenarios for fun. And the winner was going to get that scenario played out on Advanced Maneuvers. So here we are, a little bit late, but we're here at least. Because the scenario calls for scoring on 2 objectives, and I don't know how my opponent is going to deploy his army, I go for a centralized deployment. I've got warders on either side. I've got the stone in the center, the war beast in the center, and the casters in the center. Mostly because, I don't know. Madrak, behind every great man is an even greater woman, and I really feel like for Madrak that's Calandra. So I really want to see how this plays out in a 2-caster scenario.
Okay, so for deployment, looks like I lost the roll, so I ended up going second. My opponent, Dowdark, set up the way he felt so better. With his zone on my right was the flower shop, and then on the left behind the house from this view is the chocolate shop. And Grayle was going to be my buyer or my shopper, so he can go get things. I figured with him being speed 7, he can help get around the board faster, to avoid being able and still be able to not get too close to Haley, so I don't lose the point after getting a point. So I just chose to put Grayle on that side so he can go after the flower. The intent was to have the Wolf Riders run up to the forest, and then push past the forest to kind of help guarantee Grayle can get to it, and then start running back towards the other one, or the chocolate shop. So I deploy Haley and the Stormblades and the Stormclad to be over there so they could go around to take that flank and push past the chocolate shop so that Grayle had no threat from the trolls. And for advanced deployment, I chose to put Lord of the Feast kind of central. So thinking that I could try to get back into the Stone Bearers unit to have him get into them and be able to take them out of the fight.
Trolls, turn 1. So Madrak wants to go out. He wants to buy some chocolates and flowers for Calandra, kind of impress her, see if he can't win her over, because she's going to be a strong woman. You're going to have to do a lot of work to win somebody like that over. And wouldn't you know it if a bunch of Cygnar and Circle don't come to spoil the day? I mean, really. So I'm looking at the scenario, and basically I'm running into a situation where you've got 2 points to control. Chocolate shop, bottom of the screen. Flower shop, top of the screen, just behind the house. Difficult to see it. Because Haley's on the table and she has TK, she has the ability to TK 2 casters closer to each other. So there's a 4-inch zone in which if you're even slightly close on the 12 inches, she'll TK 1 caster, TK the other caster, put them within 12, and you lose all control points. So I'm in any major pressure to gain control points until I have managed to attrition the armies down and then go for play for control. So I need to jam out the scenarios until I can kill enough of their stuff, because I don't think he's going to win on the attrition side. If I can jam out the scenarios enough to prevent him from scoring, and then whittle him down, then maybe I can start scoring and keep putting pressure on Haley to keep her from having the ability to TK my casters. So the warders run up, the beasts run up. I'm going to put Mulg towards the Wolf Riders because they've got prey on my warders. Just as a aside, having 2 casters under Surefoot behind a wall under Starcross is stupid fun.
Okay, so my turn 1, I decided to give Thorn a focus so that I can run him up and be in position for throwing out some time bombs, so I can slow stuff down. Not really concerned about doing damage. So I have Grayle go first. He puts Storm Rager on Lord of the Feast because that makes him awesome. And then I'm not sure how else to spell in Grayle's focus or Fury at the beginning. So I end up moving him up since he's speed 7, 4, then 3. And I decided to kick off 1 because I got 3 Woldwyrds, so I know they're going to be running this turn. Mostly just to run up. Not their full, since their speed's 7 as well. Not the rule of... Mostly their full 14. Being in a good position where he can't charge me, but at the most he can run to engage me. And they're ready to shoot back as necessary as he casts spells. And I also wanted to, since I prayed the warders that are directly across from me, had the Wolf Riders go and run to be behind the forest, or if not, partly into it as well. And then 1 Wolf Rider, the body fell off. Casualty already. Wolfmane run up to stay near Grayle. So that way, after Lord of the Feast is done with it, I can swap it over to him so he can use it. I then have Thorn run. Lord of the Feast was too far away when I activated him, so he just advanced. Thorn ran up, so I can get ready for time bombs. Stormclad to run up on that side. Getting a focus for starting within 3 inches of the Stormblade infantry. Getting ready, and then the Stormblades are running to keep up with Clad as well. Haley, I'll activate and cast D-Cell, and I want to get extra movement for her to get up the table so she has more table space for their feet next turn. So I decide to charge Mulg, and lo and behold, I fail my charge, but continue to camp 3 focus. Then run with the last Woldwyrd to back up the other one on that side in between Thorn and Lord of the Feast.
Trollbloods turn 2. So as expected, he's moved up. He's advanced with the Wolf Riders to the far right. The way he's positioned Grayle, obviously he's going for the Chocolate Chop in the following turn. And the heavy hitting, the Stormclad and the Stormblades are pushing towards the Flower Shop. Probably going to try and shut me out of that zone, so that way after Grayle has gotten to the Chocolate Shop, he can spend a turn or two running to get to the Flower Shop and win on scenario. That being said, I'm going to have to shift some things around. I've got prey on the warders on the bottom side of the table, and I do not want to give the Wolf Riders the increased speed. A lot of times people worry about the damage that the prey will do to the prey targets, but you also have to keep in mind the speed that the other Wolf Riders could benefit from to get even further into lines, potentially getting towards stones or anything like that. So I'm going to set a front line of non-preyed warders near the front, and this will just be in preparations for the fact that I'm expecting to be feeded on next turn. I'll get an advance out of them and that's it, but at least they'll be able to set the line so that my opponent can't charge too deep into my lines to do any major damage, because he'd have to pass by Weapon Masters to do so, reach Weapon Masters. I activate the Bomber, and I'm going to have him go after some of the Stormblades. I'd like to be able to clear out the cluster of Cygnar guys who are going to get in the way. Actually, I apologize, it's Calandra, and she's activating, keeping up Starcross for the most part, and just camping for rerolls. But the Bomber will advance up, and basically I'm going to go for targeting. They're under deceleration, so the likelihood of me getting anything on them is relatively low, even more so when they deviate. I choose not to reroll, just because I want to save rerolls for potential damage, because under deceleration it'll be really hard to kill anything. So anything that I want to try and kill, I'm going to need to boost in order to do so. The other thing I'm going to have to keep in mind is that because I'm most likely going to get feeded on next turn when Haley gets in range, and because Thorn is kind of tucked behind that building awaiting, I'm going to need to be aware that Mulg is probably going to get shut down here soon. I can't imagine that he's going to time bomb too many of the warders when he can just kind of advance up the Woldwyrds to kind of block me out. And so I imagine he's going to go after Mulg. So I need to get Mulg up in such a way that he'll be able to threaten this right-hand side, and potentially even Grayle if Grayle comes in and I can somehow orchestrate Mulg getting on Grayle. So here I go again. I'm setting the wall, just keeping up with it. It'll be a recurring theme through this game of having Calandra and Madrak both behind the wall, under Starcrossed, under Surefoot, under Stone. It really takes the assassination off the table for them and allows me to play more middle of the table, so that when I do get enough of the attrition swing, I can start playing for scenario. Madrak can go bolting off for the Chocolate Factory or the Flower Factory, based on which one is better positioning for me, as long as I stay mid. And that combination of those 3 or 4 effects allows me to play mid and not necessarily worry about Calandra dying or Mulg getting a Thorn charge to the face or something to that effect. You'll notice I advanced the Sorcerer up near the top. That is because I'm hoping to pull off a Ice Bolt onto the Stormclad, and using rerolls to potentially trigger a crit stationary in the following turn. This isn't necessarily going to prevent the Stormclad from advancing, because obviously he'll be able to shake it off, but because that's Haley's bonded Jack, it will allow me to reduce him down to just the standard 3, because he'll spend 1 to shake off the stationary, which reduces his damage output, potentially allowing the Bomber or warders to survive the following turn when I'm going to be underneath feet. So I advance the stone up, and I push off to the right-hand side because, again, I'm going to need to keep that right-hand side alive with that Stormclad stomping around over there. And then I feign for my warders to fall back, and this is in part because I don't want to give him the increased speed bonus that he's going to get from prey, but also as a feign because if I give him the impression that I'm going to be switching where my preys go to one side and my non-preys go to another, when the wolf riders advance to go after another target since they can't go after prey, I can then turn around and go ahead and have the parade warders charge the wolf riders. And between Mulg and the warders, I feel like I have enough to deal with them.
Okay, so my turn 2, I see my deceleration helped keep a few of the Stormblades from being killed from the bomber. And then the Teldark decided to shift his warders, so the ones that are preyed by the wolf riders, to the other side of the board. So we're doing a swap-a-roo, which is fine by me. So we will go ahead. So I decided to give the Stormclad a focus, and I think in the beginning I was trying to decide if I wanted to get closer to cast Temple Acceleration on it to try to have it charge to get into the bomber. But I decided I don't want to move closer to the clad, so I'm just gonna have him shoot. So I give him a focus, and then he'll get a second one so that he can boost damage from them being next to Stormblades. I decided that I need to time bomb Mulg because I don't think I'll be able to move up and get him in the feet. And I want to make sure that he can't be charging me back, so I want to slow him down. And I know the only way to get that is to get Thorn on him. So I know I will need to activate Thorn. He won't be able to do anything, so I'm not going to give him a focus. I also want to get this Lord of the Feast into the fray so we can start have to worry about him. So I want to cast Deadeye on him, but I need to make sure I move Thorn up first so I can cast Deadeye through him and then Reaction Drive to get closer to Mulg to make sure, in case I miss, it won't deviate far from Mulg. Realizing the Starcross is up, I don't want to be in it from when I go to Time Bomb Mulg, so check my control area and making sure that I'm outside. Cast Deadeye on Lord of the Feast. Reaction Drive, so I'm closer to Mulg, and turn to face that nobody's behind me. Then I decide to Time Bomb first, and then make sure I hit. I guess Time Bomb him and the warder next to him. I think I do a few points damage, maybe, if any. Then I die feet. I know I boost damage on it. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. Yep, so I fuse Haley. Then we then move the building out of the way and make sure who we got inside the feet. Even though this is a casual game, we still want to be as tight as we can. I take a look. I was looking at where I want to put the feast. Wasn't sure where to put them yet, so I decided to come back to it later. I go up, I activate the Stormclad. He gets his second focus. Shoots at the bomber in Starcross, so I'll have to boost the hit to help make sure it hits. And even under Starcross, I believe I remember I do hit. And boost damage. Yeah, that leaves to the other warder and doesn't do anything. So now I go to the Woldwyrd, checking control area, trying to see what I got to bead for the Woldwyrd. Or no, I go to Lord of the Feast, activate him, advance him up. I was looking to try to see if I had the water, but I think because of I think it's a water in Calandra. The way their bases were crossed and they're within 1 inch of what I wanted to go at, I couldn't really see it, so I decided to go for the safer water shot on the side. I hit with Deadeye, or I placed one of the feast back there just to make him have to deal with him. I do superficial damage to each of the guys with the Blood Reaper attack. I do not have Madrak in my reach. So I make the attack against the couple warders and the Axer. And I'm going to do mediocre damage, even on PAL 15. So after all the feasts, I decided to go with Woldwyrd. I have him advance. And then take a shot at a warder. Boost the hit because of Starcrossed. And try to boost damage. I think I do 1 just to trigger battle driven. Story of my life with my dice in that. Then I go to move the next Woldwyrd. And I'm realizing after the fact that I moved him too far out of Grayle, I move back. Teldark is gracious enough to let me do that. I move back to control area. I then put up my Animus Arcane Suppression. Since he's got a couple upkeep spells, I want him to pay double for. Then I decide I want to go with the Wolf Riders. Even though my prey has moved away from me, I want them to go after Mulg, because even though Mulg's armor is pretty good, but he's outside of the stone from the Stone Bearers, but they have Weapon Master when they throw, so 3 dice damage. I feel like doing good. And even under the javelins, the Wolf Riders have luck on their javelins, so with the recent clarification knowing about rerolls, when I reroll with a luck, if I miss because of Starcross, with luck I get to reroll the attack roll and then not have to worry about the extra die from Starcrossed again. So then I get to reroll just with 2 dice to hit. I'm gonna do some damage to Mulg, superficial really, and since I forgot my exact measurements, sticks, borrow tail darts for my light cav move, and basically just want to move more to the side to get more of the flank, so they have to keep them away from the flower shop. Then check to see that I can get Grayle to the flower shop, but he's going to have to run to get to it. I can't charge it. Move the white mane over to be ready to help with counter charging because of Haley's feet. Basically, if he comes forward at all. Decide to dump Fury, since the Fury I have on the table, and run to the flower shop to get the flowers for Haley, because I know she likes the bestest of flowers. I move the third Woldwyrd up in to kind of block at the flower shop so he can't get close enough to it, and to protect Grayle. Then go back to the Stormblades and decide to have them assault the bomber. And the idea is to get as many guys up as I can in the front. I want the gunners to be able to hit the bomber, because if the gunners hit, the rest of the Stormblades automatically hit. So I roll their attack rolls first. The first one missed, the next one hit, and I'm going to do some overall superficial damage to the bomber. I don't remember if I took out a spirit or not, or an aspect. So, in going forward, I know I can be able to measure Grayle's control area after getting the flower to make sure I don't get too close to Haley so I don't lose it as I start sending her around that side of the building. So I can go over to the chocolate shop.
Trolls turn 3. So I got feeded on, kind of what happens when you play against D. Haley. And a good chunk of my army is underneath her feet, and PG-Bewie is going to be able to determine the order. Some of the things that weren't caught underneath the feet is Mulg, who is time bombed, and the back unit of Warders and Axer, which is advantageous because I'll still be able to do what I was hoping for, which was kill out those Wolf Riders. Now, with the fact that Mulg is time bombed, I'm going to need to get rush on him. What I was just doing with the focus is in a odd turn of events. Something I actually didn't think about when I put together this list is the fury that can be put into or taken out of the stone from the Krielstone is not dependent on a specific warcaster. It's not a battle group effect. It's not only one warcaster can contribute to it. So you can actually have, when you're running 2 troll casters, have one put in 1 fury, the other put in 2 fury, and max out your stone relatively easily. And that's one thing that I've always struggled with Madrak is that he has such a hard time fueling the stone by himself when he's only Fury 5. But when you also have Calandra's Fury to play in, you have the ability to toss things around. Now in this specific game, because the bobbleheads, or I call them bobbleheads, the Woldwyrds, have the ability that makes all upkeeps cost twice, it becomes even more of an issue because Starcross is 2 Fury off of Calandra and Surefoot's 2 Fury off of Madrak. So I'm already having Fury issues based off of them, plus trying to feed the stone kind of takes a lot of their spell trees off of the table. I have Befuddle when it's available to me. I really wish Befuddle was like Telekinesis and I could use it to knock Haley and Grayle together to drop off that flower shop, the flower shop token. I apologize. Earlier I was calling the bottom one the chocolate shop. That's the flower shop. The chocolate shop's up top. But knocking off the flower point so that he would have to start his scenario over again. But Befuddle doesn't work that way. So I'm advancing. He's nominating for my warders to advance up, and basically I'm just using this to advance them up and engage what they can, or set the line where they can. They're not going to get any swings, and that's fine. I contemplated about using Madrak's feet to potentially give me some movement, but that would have required pre-engagement, so I'm going to save it for a turn. I have this idea of trying to use Madrak's feet and Calandra's feet at the same time to make sure that the 1s and 2s allow me to Pac-Man through as much as the army as I can, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to present itself to me. So carrying through a couple other things, the Janissa is going to put her wall down. I don't think Madrak and Calandra are going to move anywhere. They don't really have any pressing need to. I am aware of the scenario, and I'm aware of the fact that basically in about 2 turns, Grayle is going to get over to that chocolate shop to get the final scenario point for control. That being said, he's going to have issues with trying to figure out how to get around Haley and still have Haley be able to contribute to the fight with D-Cell and other effects that she has. And it's the same issue I'm having with Calandra and Madrak, is that at some point when I do get the scenario point with Madrak, I need to move them around in a dance in such a way that Calandra is still committing Starcross and they're still benefiting from the stone, but they're staying out of 12 of each other. And it's definitely going to be an odd dance of models to try and get them to move around each other. And I really think that's where the interest or the difficulty of this scenario is that I have a control point. How do I dance around my own models to keep that control point? And it's something I've been thinking about throughout the entire game, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm going through a couple of the other activations. Stone's going to put up Aura. I think I do the +1 strength so that if anybody tries to run by, they're going to end up having to take a +1 strength free strike. Not that I expect him to. I wonder why I'm getting so close to the table. It's not like this game has true line of sight and I would actually need to get down near the table in order to see what's going on. But whatever. I would also like to draw your attention to the left-hand side of the screen. I have now contaminated another individual with something that we locally refer to as the Warmachine Shake. That's right, it's contagious. Play me and you will get the Warmachine Shake too. So advancing up, I have the Impaler go over. I've got a Lord of the Feast in the midst of my waters, and I do not want him there, so I have him go up and swing and boost on both hit and damage to knock out the Lord of the Feast to free up the waters. I do not want to take free strikes from the Lord of the Feast trying to get after that wolf on the bottom of the screen, which is the one I'm most likely going to go for. The other wolves are going to be engaged by Mulg. He's going to have issues, but he will be able to get up there and do something out of it. The sorcerer went to go for a stationary, but didn't work. Didn't get what I wanted, which was the crit. And now I am down to the models that I want to activate, and I want to go through. So I activate the Axer. He puts Rush on Mulg to make up for the lost speed with Time Bomb. Because I have the speed reduction, I'm not going to be able to charge, so we go ahead and we do the 4 inches and then see if I can get a ½ inch on the Wolf Rider. I don't believe I was able to, so I just commit to the fact that I'm going to get the reach. And I believe I'm actually out of the upper Wolf Rider. Yep, I'm out. So I'm going to only be able to attack the 2 that are there. Because I'm also out on the second one now, because I'm out of reach on that one. So swinging on the other one, I managed to kill 2, and then I go for the warders. The warders are going to charge that third one, the one closest to him. If I can kill him or her, then I will be able to potentially cause a break check, and Wolf Riders are notorious for failing morale checks. So I'm really kind of excited about that potential there, because if I can break them, then that means I get no retaliation, even though their prey target's standing right next to them, and set myself up that I might be able to use Mulg and Pac-Man through the infantry that's on the left hand, or near the flower shop. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get to Grayle. I wasn't going to be able to get a charge on him this turn, which is why I went after a Wolf Rider. And that's where they broke. Awesome. They've broken. I wasn't able to get a charge on Grayle, so I went after the Wolf Riders. So unfortunately, he's going to be able to run away next turn.
Okay, so on my turn 3, Bomber frenzied, luckily for me. And so I decided to give this Stormclad 3 focus, so that he'll be able to go over there and finish off the Bomber. He'll get a 4th one from starting next to the Stormblade infantry. Of course, my Wolf Riders failed their command check after being myrtleized, which is par for the course for them. So they broke in their good fashion. I know I need to get Grayle over to the chocolate shop as fast as I can, but not getting too close to Haley. Since I've got the first pick of the flowers, so I got the better flowers. So I believe Calandra will not be happy with that. I think I end up going with the. I also know I want to try to keep Mulg out of the game as much as I can, so I know I want to send another time bomb his way. So I'm planning on that. I don't see any point for where else to put my focus. Wolf Riders rally, yay, as they do. Then I guess it was the chocolate shop. I don't know. So I decided to have Haley go and make sure I'm outside of Stalkcross and Time Bomb Mulg. Which works, which only gets him this time, which was fine. Do a couple points damage, maybe 1 or 2. Then I have some of the Stormblades, then I have Haley move over to start moving around the building to give Grayle room to move. Some of the Stormblades are in the way. Try to have her take a shot at the Trollkin Sorcerer. Misses because Star-Crossed. Some of the Stormblades were in my way of the Stormclad getting a clean charge into the bomber, so I decided to have them charge and then run several few just to get them around. So I have two guys go after the Sorcerer that are out of Stormclad's way. I'll have the rest of them try to go up against the warder that's over there that's been damaged. Hopefully I can kill him. I don't think I actually do kill that warder. That warder ends up being a soldier. He lives through some stuff. So I have Stormblades run, mostly get in position for the next turn. Kill the war sorcerer. I think I did a CMA with guys. I still didn't do much. Of course, trigger battle driven again for him. Stormclad activates and charges the bomber, and try to be as precise as possible. We set it up, check main, make sure the charge good. Gets into the bomber. Do really good charge damage roll on Stormclad. Hit through Star-Crossed, and after killing him, it leaps to one of the Stone Bears. He dies, fails a tough check. I'm able to buy another attack on the bomber, and hits, and I believe it kills the bomber, and also he leaps and kills another Stone Bear. Left with 2 extra focus on the Stormclad. Sometimes I guess you just overestimate. And I go the one Woldwyrd that's in front of the flower shop. I decide to have it aim. I'm not sure who I wanted to shoot. We got all these different warders who have battle driven up, and so the only shot I see really is to shoot Madrak for to have him transfer damage maybe. But with me aiming, I need to hit a 12. And he's got purgation, I got purgation. He gets surefoot up, so I was rolling 5 dice because of Star-Crossed. And keeping 4, I needed to hit a 12, which I got. And then I ended up doing like 9 damage, which he transferred. Mulg got the move, which I was fine with. The other Woldwyrd that was being decided to activate and just cast Arcane Suppression, shoot the warder he was engaged with. I don't think it does anything, if at all. The other Woldwyrd decided to move up because he was engaged by the warder who walked up between him and Thorn. Thorn tried to do some smacking, didn't do much either. I decided to have the white mane, since Grayle could not put Storm Rager on him because I didn't turn him the correct way. He charges Mulg, does very superficial damage. I hit with Star-Crossed even in the row because of powerful charge. I think I may have done 1 damage or 2. Grayle, I put Storm Rager on myself. I then have check control areas to make sure I don't get within 12. So I have him move at least 6 inches, or 5, and then another 6. I can't move 7 because then I'd be within 12. Make sure I'm outside of the Haley, and it's my turn. I think I popped my feet here. No, I cast Wind Blast. I put out Wind Blast because I know Madrak likes to throw his axe, so I put Wind Blast out to, if he comes to come up close to me, he'll be at -3 rat. And that's my turn.
Troll's turn 4. So I lost my bomber last turn. I've got a Stormclad on my right flank coming towards my casters, and I have nothing super effective that can kill it because the warders who could potentially do damage to them are currently locked up by bobbleheads and other things. Not to mention I'm behind on scenario because he only needs one more and he wins, so things are turning south quickly. That being said, I'm not out of the game yet. I need to go through some clearing up activations, kind of looking through things. I think I'm probably going to use my P Madrak feat this turn because I can use that to help clear out the left-hand side, position myself where I can start getting Madrak over to get the flower shop. Arguably, Grayle has already taken the best flowers, so Madrak won't be able to give Calandra roses. He'll probably have to give her, like, I don't know, pink carnations or something like that. So we're already on a bad note here. But you know, who knows? Maybe she hasn't noticed yet, or maybe she's just like, maybe she's a carnation girl. She doesn't really do the whole roses thing. I activate the stone, and I use the +1 strength because that will help during this turn. And I do some charges with some stone scribes because those guys can do work. Don't be fooled. They will get some work done, especially with the +1 strength that they bring to themselves. So we get some stone scribes killing off Stormblades for nothing more than it's it's a Stormblade. It's one less Stormblade on the table, and I think I did like 1 point of damage to the Stormclad. So fear the might of Krielstone bearers. So Calandra goes. Those bobbleheads making it difficult to upkeep the Starcrossed and Surefoot, but we'll still do it. Madrak goes. He does pop feet, just a quick measure of who he has and whatnot within his feet range. Contemplating throwing my axe, but for a moment I think I was actually thinking he might have been Madrak, and that I needed to. I was going to get two axe throws out of it. Janissa applies the wall so that if the Stormclad does come in for whatever reason, he'll have to be swinging over the wall. He still has reach. He still can more than able to swing over the wall, but the benefit of Surefoot, Starcross, and the melee bonus for swinging over a wall may keep my casters alive. And doesn't, with all the medium bases in the way, he has no real way of getting around the wall, so he'll have to swing over the wall if he makes it to me. So going through a couple things, I think I'm going to use the warders. I'd love to get the warders to kill off the last of the wolf riders. So I do some declares over there, trying to get the warders in there. And if I can clear off the wolf riders, and the medium base that's in front of Mulg right now is Whitemane, or proxy for Whitemane. I'm going to get one of the warders to charge Whitemane. If I can kill off the wolves and Whitemane, Mulg could, or even if I can manage to orchestrate doing a swing on the bobblehead, maybe I could get a run out of Mulg to engage Grayle and see if I can lock him down that way. I don't know if Grayle has parry or not. Probably need to look into that. But anyways, get the warders. They are under feet, or some of them are under feet, so we do get attacks. Kill one of the wolf riders, overtake, but it doesn't give me range to anything. The next warder going after the wolf riders did not have hit, so I did not kill that Wolf Rider, so Mulg still engaged, but I did manage to kill Whitemane, overtake, and get a swing on the Bobblehead. I use a focus to re-roll the hit, and I get some pretty good damage out of it. Not enough to kill it, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to use Mulg. Mulg will have to advance up to do some damage on onto the Wolf and the Bobblehead. Axer comes up, puts rush on Mulg because there's a tree right there, and I don't want the terrain to potentially cause issues with Pathfinder, so I want to make sure I get Pathfinder. Not to mention, I believe he's under Time Bomb, so I need the increased move. Mulg advances up. Does a club swing on the Wolf, which, I mean, basically if I boost a hit and I hit, there's no way that Wolf doesn't die. So Prey is now off the table. I advance up 1, unfortunately, not realizing I actually passed the Bobblehead's range, and because he has got rush on him, he's going to get hit pretty hard. But it doesn't do too terribly much to Mulg. He's still fully functional. So I go after and I swing on the Bobblehead to kill the Bobblehead, or the Woldwyrd. Swing, and I mean Mulg's club does what Mulg's club does, and kills the or does a lot of damage. And I think the second swing is the one that kills the Woldwyrd. Yep, there he goes. Don't do it. Don't. Oh, you silly troll player. You don't overtake on constructs. So yeah, no, that was a mistake. Shouldn't have advanced with Mulg with 1 inch. Activating the warders. These bobbleheads are really kind of jamming up my warders, and I need to free them up. And here is another scenario where if this was Epic Madrak, the warders would have been able to do multiple swings on multiple Woldwyrds because of the arcs that they're in. I could get, each Woldwyrd could get a swing from 2 Weapon Master warders, which would definitely clear them up. Unfortunately, with P Madrak, 1 swing will do a lot of damage to a Woldwyrd, but won't be enough to kill it to trigger an overtake for every single one. Not to mention there's only 2 Woldwyrds. So I'm really just using this warder unit to kill these bobbleheads. They're actually kind of a pain. They're troublesome to get rid of just because they're a light beast, and they engage, and the upkeep costs. I have a new respect for Woldwyrds. I don't necessarily consider them a threat, but they're not as bad as I thought they were. They do have a place in this game. So go through spending a couple focus to reroll damage on the Woldwyrd, trying to make sure that I get these things dead. Unfortunately, there are still 1 of them, 2 of them still up. And then the one warder over here, he's my champ. This one warder he got punched by an angry dire troll the turn before when the dire troll frenzied. So he's been kind of sitting on 1 for most of the game, or close to 1 for most of the game. And he toughs through most of it, and on this little turn, unfortunately he can't see it because of the house, but he just goes Pac-Manning through 3 or 4 of the Stormblades. It does pull me away from the Stormclad. I think in hindsight it might have been better for me to engage the Stormclad, but I don't really... I mean, the Stormclad's not going to do much damage over the wall, Starcross, Surefoot, all that madness, so I don't necessarily consider it a bad play. I do manage to kill some of the Stormblades, and that's cool. And then the Impaler is just going to set himself up in front as a target for the Stormclad, because he's not going to be able to do much, but I can prevent the Stormclad from advancing any further.
I realized shooting Madrak was probably not a very good idea because it gave Mulg an extra move, but yeah, hindsight 2020. So I'm upkeeping Storm Rager on Grayle. Now the Impaler is over in front of the Stormclad. I want to get rid of him, so decide to give him 3 focus. I'll get a 4th one when he activates. I need to get good distance away from Mulg with Grayle, but still getting Haley around the side. There's also a warder who's deep into my Stormblades on that side of the building. I need to kill him so to make sure he's not a threat. So I decided to go with the Stormblades. I just want to get Grayle away so that I can get him closer, so we can be able to get to the next objective for the chocolates. So I have Stormblades, and I'm talking it through, making sure we have good charge lanes for who I'm going to have the Stormblades charge, and discussing line of sight and back arcs. Yeah, also I'm thinking also on the other side of the table, I'm thinking with the Woldwyrd, just since I lost Thorn as well, the Woldwyrds can just to their left just kind of keep jamming. Stormblades go up. I do not kill the warder. Tough is a thing. At least he's knocked down, easier to hit, but now battle driven. Next, Stone. I believe he survives the Stormblades charge. Yes, tough. I decide also that I'm going to end up. I want to put Temple Acceleration on the Stormclad to make sure he's got plenty of attacks to get rid of the Impaler. So make sure I get good distance. I decide to charge the warder with Haley. Since he's knocked down, he'll be able to hit. I cast Temple Acceleration on the Stormclad, run my damage, and able to fail the tough check and kill the warder. Haley killed something. Woohoo! My last couple of focus, I decided to get more away so that Grayle has more of a chance to get around, so I end up deciding to TK myself and end up camping on 1 focus, I believe. Maybe camping none. Let the Stormclad go. Starcross still a problem. Able to hit and dice, I think. Now I'm deciding on the electro leaps. We have 2 other impartial people come take a look because it's either going to leap to my Stormblade or toward the Stone Bearer in front of the Impaler, and they were really, really close. Too close for either of us to call. They end up deciding that the Stone Bearer was the closer one. Electro leap kills him after failing a stuff check. The Stormclad is able to go through and finish off the Impaler. I think I still have a focus left, so I swing at the next Stone Bearer. Since that guy is knocked down, and I end up killing him as well, I believe. Yeah, he dies. Start looking to measure more Haley's control area, so I see how far Grayle can go before getting too close. Making sure I get distance away from Mulg. I decide to go with that next. So I move Grayle, checking control area as I move. I activate the Woldwyrd, knowing I'm not going to be able to really do superficial damage even with boosting, but kind of move him to help block, make sure I physically block the other warder so he can't get around me. Activate the other Woldwyrd, have him put up Arcane Suppression to make him keep paying for the upkeeps. That's my turn 4.
Troll's turn 5. So things are kind of going south. I've managed to kill a whole bunch of stuff on the left-hand side, but a good chunk of my heavy hitters are out of position. My own fault. So I'm running through the scenarios. Grayle is probably 1 turn away from running and dominating. I don't have anything that I can necessarily put up there that's going to contest for very long, because even if I do, he's got a Stormclad over there that could easily punch whatever's contesting, and then he'll just win on his turn. So I'm imminent of losing on scenario, and in most of those situations, when you're about to lose on scenario, you immediately start looking towards assassination. Grayle's too far out for me to get anything really on him. There's a bunch of medium bases in the way of me doing any ranged on him. However, Haley is on a hill, and I can potentially draw a line of sight to her. Madrak's currently... Calandra has noticed that the flower shop has just got scraps in it. She sees Grayle running in the background towards Haley, and he's got all these, beautiful flowers. He's about to hit the chocolate shop, and things are just turning south. Madrak's day is not going to be one well if he comes to her with less than Godiva chocolates and amazing flowers. So with that, I basically have... the warders are advancing up. They're going to try and get some damage onto the bobbleheads, but it's really just kind of a feint. I'm not really going to get much out of them. I have 1 warder charge the Stormclad to engage it and to get some damage on it, but really these are just activations that I'm getting out of the way so that I can move on to having Janissa and Madrak, and maybe even Calandra with a Befuddle. Put a lot of damage, range damage onto, not Befuddle, but Force Bolt. Put some range damage onto Haley. And I really would need these bobbleheads down if I'm going to manage to pull off a Force Bolt. So you'll notice that I take misses because I'm not going to take the opportunity for me to reroll, because I do not want to have to lose out on not being able to get a Befuddle off. I have an upkept Starcrossed. I think I did upkeep Surefoot because Madrak's not going to use his focus as much. Unfortunately, I was not able to kill the bobbleheads, so I'm going to have issues. But Calandra's not going to be able to do the Force Bolt like I was hoping. And it's really going to boil down to Janissa and Madrak. So I activate Janissa, and I'm going to have her basically walk up behind the warder so that I'm measuring control area to see if it's possible. Walk up behind the warder so she can draw a sliver of a line of sight to Haley and still be in range of her being able to pull off her Rock Hammer. Because it's a magic ability with no cost, it's not affected by the bobblehead ability. It's just barely within the 8 inches. And since I can't boost with Janissa, I will have the reroll. I do manage to hit, and I roll out the damage, and I get a 9, which I believe does 6 points to her, 6 or 5 or something like that. I forget what it is, but I do remember going through my mind of, oh man, that's just like 1 point over average. I'd really like to get more damage done, but instead of being greedy, I just take it. She'll have I had 8 points of damage to her. So I end up moving Madrak up, and he grabs Rothrock, and he hurls it towards Haley, taking his anger of the frustration of the situation out on her. He hits her, and I boost the damage, and Haley gets an axe to the face. So awesome game. Thank you, PG-Bewie, for playing me at it. A lot of fun.